It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the 4 new releases released on April 24th, 2009. It's the weekend before the summer movie bonanza begins, so what do the studios have to offer us on this last weekend before we get to the blockbusters? Sort of a mixed bag in general. Let's start off with the biggest new release of the weekend, Obsessed, and see if you can figure out what exactly they're ripping off here with this movie, because quite honestly, if you can't figure it out within the first 2 seconds, you're not going to figure it out at all. Allie, take the hint. He does not want you. He's married to Beyonce. Like, you blew that opportunity. Like, I know you have that dream of dating a black guy, or having sex with a black guy, but that ship has sailed. It's time to move on. That's the first thing I should say. Second thing, it's PG-13, so yeah, you're not getting anything hot or sexy from this movie, no matter how hard you try. And 3, Fatal Attraction. I mean, it's obviously the Gen Z equivalent to Fatal Attraction, and yeah, I don't think I need to tell you how this movie ends up being. You have Ali Larter starring as an office temp who develops unrequited feelings for her boss, played by Idris Elba, and repeatedly attempts to seduce him, and his wife, played by Beyonce Knowles, learns of Lisa's escalating behavior and suspects her husband is having an affair. So yeah, like I said, this is literally Fatal Attraction, except instead of Glenn Close being absolutely terrifying in that movie, Ali Larter is just being kind of obnoxious, because Idris Elba wants nothing to do with her per se. And this in a way, it's not like Fatal Attraction, because Michael Douglas shouldn't have been doing it, but he got into it anyway with Glenn Close, because he was married to Ann Archer in that movie. But here, it's clearly obvious that Idris Elba wants nothing to do with Ali Larter per se, and like I said, he's married to Beyonce Knowles. I mean, come on, like, you're gonna tell me you're gonna risk it all for the chick from Heroes and the chick who had whipped cream all their boobs and vagina in a Varsity Blues? I mean, someone like me, it would probably be that way, but no, you're married to Beyonce Knowles. I think we all know who your priorities should be, but yeah, this movie is pretty lame. It's a lackluster movie that doesn't explain anything. We just are expected to already assume that, he's pretty much, that she pretty much has it for him, for no particular reason, because no, they never explain how this is, the whole thing about her obsession with Idris Elba's character. They don't explore the themes of an interracial couple. It's kind of like the equivalent to Lakeview Terrace, except Lakeview Terrace was actually trying to have a message to it. And not a thought out message, but at least they were trying in that movie. But in this one, like I said before, it doesn't work because Idris Elba wants nothing to do with Ali Larter, but yet she can't take no for an answer, because she's the blonde hottie, and she's got to be the main character of the storyline here. There is only one thing in particular that makes this movie worth it, and that's at the end when Beyonce has to beat the living shit out of Ali Larter. I mean, there's literally a scene where she beats the crap out of her, and yeah, that makes it kind of worth it a little bit, but not really. But at the same time, it's just kind of like, it's certainly the most enjoyable aspect of the movie, because Beyonce's looking at Ali Larter, just like, bitch, are you serious? And like, yeah, she could easily beat the crap out of her, no question about it. That's the only thing that makes this movie worth it, and even then, you can find that stuff online. You can find it on YouTube right now, probably on one of Sony's channels, and you wouldn't even have to bother watching the movie. Because really, watch that, and you got something out of it. If it was like a short film, like a comedy short film, like something out of a Mad TV, Key and Peele SNL sketch, I mean, that'd be something, but not in the movie where you're sitting there for over an hour and a half, just waiting for this moment to happen, and then when it happens, it's a nice little thing to add to it, but at the same time, I've wasted my time on this garbage movie with nothing of value to it whatsoever, so why am I even here? I mean, you can watch all these people in much better movies. There are so many other better movies with everybody involved in this. This is just bad. This is a Gen X version of Fatal Attraction, except not as scary, not as intimidating, not as fun. It's just a waste of your time. And yeah, I don't care if you have some talented actors in here, like Idris Elba and Beyonce Knowles. Like, go watch them in much better movies. There are so many other better movies out there you could be watching them in, besides this pile of garbage here. Plain and simple. So with that said, hey, we had the Gen X version of Fatal Attraction. Here's the Gen X version of Rocky, Fighting. A movie so bland and so generic it has to come up with the most blandest title you could possibly think of. We have a movie about boxing. What do we call it? Well, what are they doing in boxing? Fighting. We've got it. We've got our movie. And, yeah. And that should give you, that's another warning sign to probably stay away from this one. But you have Channing Tatum, who plays the kind-hearted son of an Alabama wrestling coach who makes a grim living selling fake products on the streets of New York City. After dealing with thieving punks, he's discovered by bare-knuckle street fighter manager Harvey Borden, played by Terrence Howard. John soon proves himself worthy and starts earning a small fortune, part of which he volunteers to spend on single mother Zule Velez, played by Zule Heno. I'm pretty sure they casted her because of the name, and also because she's a hot chick, so I'm guessing that's the reason why. But Sean doesn't cheat, and that seems to be a major problem, notably after the arrival of his Alabama high school rival, which... This really is sounding like that Simpsons episode where Homer turns into a boxer and Moe is his boxing manager, and Homer really doesn't really do anything. He's just, just sits in the ring and just takes as many punches as he can and then waits for the opponent to go down. That's literally what this feels like. This feels like that type of a movie, and it would have helped if this movie had something more to it besides just a generic-ass storyline. It's literally like trying to be another grittier-style version of Rocky, except Rocky was a more uplifting storyline, even though it was taking place in a very difficult area for Sylvester Stallone's character to be in, with this woman that he fell in love with in a pet store, who owned a pet store. Here, this is just literally taking everything from it and just chopping it down into the most blandest, most half-assed storyline ever. And for a movie like this, we have Channing Tatum and Terrence Howard and all these people involved, including Luis Guzman and Zule Heno, who I've seen in some other movies. She was pretty good on Illegal Tender. But other than that, though, there really is nothing here that you haven't seen done before. There are so many other better boxing movies or fighting movies that you could easily watch that are actually much better than this. And this comes from a good director, Dino Montiel, who did A Guide to Recognizing Your Saints, which wasn't a bad movie. It was just not this feels like a film that it feels like the typical movie an independent filmmaker gets, where, you could do your own thing, but can you throw in a little bit of something that we've seen done before? Can you do that for us? And that's what we get here. A lackluster second attempt at directing a film, and not a very good one. So, yeah. Big disappointment on this one overall. Fighting. Don't fight it. Just don't watch it. So, let's get to what I think is probably overall the best movie of the entire week. And it's a very underrated film. Jamie Foxx and Robert Downey Jr. starring in The Soloist. A movie that basically got screwed over because it was originally supposed to be a Christmas release, and it was supposed to be a big awards contender for both Jamie Foxx and Robert Downey Jr., but got pushed back at the last minute and didn't make a whole lot of money because stupid idiots opened the movie a week before the summer movie season. What the hell did you think was going to happen? But this is really the best movie of the entire week. You have a story where you have Jamie Foxx, who plays Nathaniel Ayers, a musician who's developed schizophrenia and becomes homeless. And you follow a journalist played by Robert Downey Jr., who follows his story, and you find out more about these characters and their personal lives. And it's basically a much better version of Resurrecting the Champ, that terrible Josh Hartnett, Samuel L. Jackson movie, which there are a lot of similarities to this movie. But the big difference between that movie and this movie is that the acting is much better. There's a solid director involved in Joe Wright, who had done Atonement and Pride and Prejudice before that. And this is also Suzanne Grant, who also wrote Pocahontas. She also wrote Erin Brockovich, In Her Shoes. So she's made a lot of good movies. There is a lot of good talent all across the board in this movie, and Robert Downey Jr. just continues to prove how good of a comeback he's on right now, coming off of the 3 movies he had in 2008 with Charlie Bartlett, Iron Man, and Tropic Thunder, and then he has this movie. And Jamie Foxx is really good in the movie too. You have a cast that also includes great performances by Catherine Keener, Lisa Gay Hamilton, Nelson Ellis, yeah, I'm thinking Nelson Franklin, but Nelson Ellis, Octavia Spencer, Stephen Root, Jenna Malone, Lorraine Toussaint, Rachel Harris. A good cast overall in here, and it's a much more compelling story because you follow this guy who's not just a straightforward homeless person that once had promised to him love. He has a condition, and it's part of why he kind of fell out of form until Robert Downey Jr.'s character came around. Yeah, it's a very formulaic movie, but it's a really damn good movie in this process. Like, it's a film that I think deserves a lot more credit. It's one of the more underrated Jamie Foxx movies and Robert Downey Jr. movies that they've ever made. And probably Joe Wright's most overlooked film as well, because it's a film that came and went, didn't really do a whole lot at the box office, and kind of just faded out into a point where I can't say the word. Faded out into obscurity. And lo and behold, nowadays, the only people who bring it up are people like me who say that, hey, it's actually kind of good. You should probably check it out, especially if you want to see Robert Downey Jr. in some really good underrated gems of films. Soloist is definitely one I'd highly recommend checking out. It's one that I really like a lot. It really definitely deserves a lot more attention than it gets. It's definitely a very good film. One I say, definitely seek this one out. So with that said, let's go ahead and move on to our last movie that we have here, the first film from Disney Nature, and that is Earth. Sorry for the suck-ass TV spot there, but believe me, that's the better of the TV spots I could find for this. Even though this movie didn't do bad business overall, it actually did really well. It made over $100 million worldwide. It's the second highest grossing nature documentary of all time, and yet there's only 2 commercials on there. One that was literally taped off of television, and one that was literally uploaded to the computer by somebody who I guess was just copying it off of a commercial break or something. But this was the first Disney Nature feature film. Disney Nature, as you see at the end of that trailer there, you go to see the movie, and they tell you that if you buy a ticket, they'll plant a tree in your honor. Sure, whatever you say. Like, maybe they're doing it, but then again, this is Disney, and I would not be shocked at all if they were using that money for other reasons, and the fact that they say that buy a ticket and we'll plant a tree, and they'll plant it in the plant like the small, and by tree they mean like the smallest plant possible. I don't know. I don't think I would like to think that Disney would be smart enough not to do that, but then again, everyone's got lies like in their life. But anyway, this is Earth, a film that depicts the diversity of wild habitats and creatures across the planet. It begins in the Arctic in January of one year and moves southward, concluding in Antarctica in December of the same year. Along the way, it features the journeys made by 3 particular species: the polar bear, the African bush elephant, and the humpback whale, to highlight the threats of their survival in the face of rapid environmental change. It's a companion piece and a sequel to the TV series Planet Earth, and uses many of the same sequences, though most are edited differently, and feature previously unseen footage not seen on television. So yeah, it's basically kind of taking the Planet Earth TV series and blowing it up for the big screen, which in one way kind of hurts the film in general, but at the same time it's just kind of like, I've seen worse. It's not even worse, to say the least. It's not a bad movie. It's a film that, it is what it is, and you can just tell that Disney was trying to copy the success of March of the Penguins and Arctic Tale. I mean, they literally say in the commercial there, it's better than March of the Penguins, which no it isn't. I mean, it's nice looking. It's nice Disney going back to some of the old nature documentary style films that they used to make back in the day when Walt was still alive. I mean, I'll give it that. I mean, this isn't a bad movie per se, but there's just nothing really about it, at least to me, that made it kind of stand out in any way, shape, or form compared to other much better documentaries. And as it is, it's fine. It's nothing too amazing, nothing too spectacular, but it is what it is. Earth, pretty much all you got to say about that one. And we'll definitely be getting to some more Disney Nature documentaries, as they would release a new documentary every year going forward for the next couple of years for Earth Day. Because Earth Day was coming up around this time, which coincidentally will be coming up around the time that this episode goes out on the air. So, happy pre-Earth Day, if you will. So, that's Earth. And thus, on that note, we're going to end this edition of Time About the Movies. And the next time we meet, we jump into the summer 2009 movie season with 3 movies hoping to battle for the big box office crown. And, Marvel's got to open up a new superhero movie on the first weekend of the summer. So we have a new Wolverine movie with Hugh Jackman back in X-Men Origins Wolverine. We have Matthew McConaughey starring in the Christmas Carol-inspired romantic comedy Ghost of Girlfriend's Past and The Battle for Terra. I'm going to give you a hint right now. Only one of those 3 movies actually turned out to be really good. Try to guess which one. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. But we'll take a look at all 3 of those movies coming up tomorrow on the show, so definitely be on the lookout for that. With all that said, though, thank you so much for watching this, and I hope you enjoyed it, because if you did, please go ahead and hit that playlist on the next page, check out the previous episode, and also don't forget to hit the like button, the subscribe button, the notification button, and the bell, so you get updates on when new videos come out, and we do post new videos here every day. So, with all that said, I am off. I'll see you guys next time, and until then, as always, take care.